everyone. I am filming a really quick concealer routine video for you guys. Now, don't worry, before you freak out, I'm not gonna start makeup blogging or anything like that, but I really wanted to get this video up because I know it's a huge issue that so many of you deal with, me first and foremost, and I've pretty much mastered the concealer game. So I really wanted to share my number one, the products that I use, as well as the technique, because concealer technique is everything and that will make or break your concealer game. So the only other video I may do is my everyday makeup routine, because that's something you guys ask for all the time, and I really do the same makeup every single day, but we'll see. Here's my concealer routine. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. Okay, so this is how I look without concealer, and so I hope you all can see that I really do have really bad under eye circles. I know a lot of you guys are like, no, it's totally fine. You should see my under eye circles. Well, I hope you can see now that mine are really bad. The very first thing that I do is I actually use a primer. So this is from Amazing Cosmetics. It's called Line Smoother and Primer. And you'll see the tip has like these roller balls that you just take a little bit out and then apply it underneath your eye with this roller ball. And it's like cool to the touch. And what it does is it fills in the fine lines underneath your eyes with primer, so that we all don't have that dreaded issue of creasing. I mean, that is like the biggest complaint that anybody has with their concealer, right? You put it on, it looks great, and then like an hour later it starts creasing. So this will help to ensure that you don't get any creasing with your concealer. So usually I put this on, I let this dry, and then I like do my eyebrows in between that time, and then I go back to my under eyes. So also, let me just preface this by saying you want to make sure that the under eye area is not dry, otherwise your concealer is going to look really bad. So using an under eye cream or just like your morning moisturizer and making sure you're getting it under your eyes, that's totally fine too. Then you're going to take, and this is my secret weapon, to be honest, it's the Bobbi Brown corrector. Now, the corrector that I use is called Light Bisque. You want the corrector to be the exact color of your skin. You don't want it to be lighter. I know a lot of girls like that lighter look, and you can achieve that later on with other products, but with the corrector, you don't want to be lightening. You want to correct. Here's the key when it comes to concealer. The application must be light as a feather. You have to be super light with it. You can't be globbing on a ton of product. And you're always gonna wanna use your ring finger, and the reason for that is your ring finger is actually the weakest finger of your 5 fingers. I learned that in piano growing up. So you want that weakest finger because you don't want a ton of pressure, you want it to be super light. All right, so I'm just gonna take a really light amount of my corrector. All right, and then you're going to apply the corrector very gently to your under eye. Now, while I'm doing this, I'll tell you guys my lip color as well as my hijab. So I'm wearing the jersey, premium jersey wrap in light mink. And my lips, I'm wearing MAC Spice lip liner with Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria lipstick. And then right in the middle of my pout, I have Snob, MAC Snob. So again, you're gonna want a very light coat. Don't take a ton, and just dab it in very gently. I don't go all the way up to the lash line, but I do make sure to cover that entire under eye. If you want extra coverage, you're gonna have to do 2 light coats, not 1 really thick coat. So when you're done with the corrector, then you're gonna wanna take your Beauty Blender. Beauty Blender is gonna be key to this whole routine. And you're gonna want it moist. I don't like it wet and I don't like it dry. Just moist is perfect. Then you're just gonna go in and kind of blend out. You don't even really need to blend it out, but it's really about like smoothing out and evening out the corrector that you've applied. All right, you guys, I'm gonna let you in on the holy grail of concealers. My best friend actually is the one who turned me on to this concealer, and it is the Makeup Forever Full Cover Tube. I use shade number 4. It is just a touch lighter than my natural skin tone, which is okay. I actually like that look. And that's when you wanna, if you like to go lighter, that's when you're gonna wanna do it with your actual concealer. Now keep in mind, girls, this is waterproof. Disclaimer, it's waterproof. So when you're making wudu, when you're washing up before prayer, it's waterproof. So make sure that you are aware of that. All right, so I'm just gonna put a little tiny amount on my hand. So this is how much I put on my hand because you don't need a lot. And then you're just gonna take your ring finger and you're gonna want to spread it out, get a little heat in there. You don't want it cold against your skin. So this is how much is on my ring finger, all right? So I'm just gonna now go into my under eye. Again, very gently, a thin layer, very gently under the eye, all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner. Get it all in there, see? And then really I'm just gonna like scoop up the last bit and go into the other eye. Now you may feel like you need another coat. If you have really, really bad under eyes, or like you got no sleep the night before, just whatever, then you might need another coat and that's fine. But what you have to do before that is you have to beauty blend and then you put another really light coat. Again, if you put too thick of a coat at once, you're going to get creasing and you're going to have issues. It's not gonna look natural. So once I put it underneath my eyes, I obviously need to blend it out now. So again, I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just kind of smooth it out. And let me also just note that when it comes to under eyes, what I've noticed throughout the years is the days when my under eyes are like doable, like okay, I can put concealer and it'll be just fine, are the days when I've gotten enough sleep and I had enough water. Those two things are huge. If you're not drinking enough water and you're not sleeping, it's gonna wreak havoc on your skin. So make sure that those two things are under control. And now I'm going to take a powder and I'm gonna set my concealer. So I use the Makeup Forever HD. And this is a white powder. I actually really like this powder. You can tell I'm like totally out. But I like this because it has this really soft finish. And I also like the fact that it doesn't have color. I really use it just to set my concealer. And that's the only reason I own this, just to set my concealer. So I'm just using a, this is like an Eco Tools brush from Target. All right. So once you've set it with powder, the very last step, and some of you may not even need this step, but especially on days when my under eyes are really bad or you just really want to step up your concealer game, the last thing I will do is a highlighter. So I actually really love the YSL Touche Éclat. And the only thing is it's really expensive and it runs out quickly. So I haven't rebought it because I have this other concealer that I've been using as a highlighter, and that is the Marc Jacobs Full Cover Concealer. It's the one in the pot. This is number 2, Alive. And the reason why I use this as a highlighter and not as a concealer is because I really don't like the consistency. It's a little too liquidy, if that makes sense. For a concealer, I like my concealer to be thick and kind of industrial, like the Makeup Forever. That's why this is the most amazing concealer. And trust me, you guys, I have tried them all. I used to use MAC for a long time. I also went through a phase where I used the Bobbi Brown concealer. Trust me, this is the best concealer out there for you. So what I do to make it act like a highlighter is I just take, again with my ring finger, a really light, I mean look at that, it's nothing. So really tiny bit. And then I just go over my concealer. Very gently and very lightly. And this is gonna brighten it up a bit. So obviously you want your highlighter to be a little bit lighter than your concealer even, because it's meant to really highlight, lighten, and make that area pop. Instantly it kind of added this lightness to that area. And again, you're gonna want to go in with your beauty blender, of course. You have to do that to really get it in there, otherwise it can crease. So make sure that with every application of anything, you're going in with a beauty blender. And then one more time, just really lightly with your powder. All right, that's it. My concealer game is done. I hope you guys really enjoy my concealer routine the best way. to put on your concealer to make sure that it doesn't crease, that it's long lasting, and that it has full coverage for your under eye circles. If this was helpful for you, please give this video a like and be sure to subscribe, and please leave any questions or comments down below. I'm going to film a whole bunch of videos for you today, so until next time, take care. Assalamu alaikum.